So the welcome letter, you could email your students. So no, I'm sorry. Let me go back to the when. Welcome letter. By the time class opens, or today, I actually haven't. I'm going to be doing mine today. I have my course. I'm going to publish it, my history course this evening, and then after I publish it, how I do this is I have an announcement that's going to be sent out to students. And why it's important to send for us to send a welcome letter to students who are enrolled in our classes. Think about things from their perspective. They've been enrolled in our classes, in your class, for weeks and maybe even months. They've probably not heard anything from you already because we're waiting for enrollments to settle down. We're still in flux. We know that students weren't even added to Canvas until earlier this week. But they've already been hearing from people at the campus. They've heard from our student services colleagues, encouraging them to apply for financial aid, encouraging them to enroll in more units, right, if they're not yet full-time student. Last week, I participated in a faculty panel that was a part of like, hey, welcome to CRC. It was for our first year experience students. And we were talking to the students about, oh, what are things like in your class? What were things like for you when you were an undergrad? Those kinds of questions. And that was one in a series of workshops that these students have been invited to. So they've been engaged in conversation with our colleagues across the campus. So hearing from us, from their instructors in their classes, it's okay to do it this early. And so again, and it could be a happy surprise for them. A couple of different ways that we can do this easily is that we can email our students from our online grades and roster system. Another way to do this is to use the Canvas announcement. I will mention like things you might include in an email letter or a welcome letter, however you format it. Welcome them to the class, express your welcome. Tell them when your Canvas course will be open. This is a question that our help desk is already getting. When will I be able to see my Canvas courses? Remind them when your class officially begins. So for our semester, as you know, the official start date is actually Saturday, August 21st. If you're teaching an in-person class, understandable and reasonable that your class won't begin until that first day of the class. That makes a lot of sense. If you're teaching a synchronous online course, reasonable, understandable that your class won't begin until your first synchronous class meeting. If you're teaching an asynchronous course, I think it's reasonable, understandable that your class actually begins on Saturday. That's the first official day of the semester. You'll see me demonstrate how I word this to students. And again, I'm going to show you an example. So welcome to the class. Tell them when your Canvas class will be open. Also remind them when class begins. And then I think that this semester, of all semesters, tell them about the vaccine mandate and include information about resources for online students, again, in particular for teaching an online class. So I'm going to do some demonstration now. And as I'm switching my share, I'm going to talk about why I use announcements and not email. In Canvas, there is a Canvas course announcement is by default emailed to every student enrolled in the course. And any student or any user in Canvas, we can go in and we can change our notification settings. So, and that means we can have those notifications sent to another email address. We can turn off notifications if we want to. So I therefore trust that my students will get the message from a Canvas announcement. I assume and I trust that that will be more effective than me using the online grades and roster system, because that will go to their default email. We can see on the rosters there whether some of our students have changed their default email, right, in Los Rios from the Gmail that we give them to some other email they provide. But we also don't know if there are students who have not yet made that change, if that makes sense. So if they haven't changed their Canvas notification settings, then it will go to their email address. And so therefore, that's one reason that I use the Canvas announcements. A second reason I use the Canvas announcement is that way I have a record of that inside my course. And it's a way to let my students know that, again, the information that I showed you there, welcoming them to class, telling them, when Canvas is open, telling them when my course actually starts. And then again, I have all that verbiage there so that next semester, if I'm teaching the same class, not that hard to copy and paste. So I'll do some demonstration here. This course that we're looking at here, this is an empty Canvas course, and I've made one change from the default that is the default for all Canvas courses at CRC. I have gone in and I have imported the online course template from Canvas Commons. So if you've been to the Foundations training, which is now mandatory, right? We have a mandatory training before we teach online classes. Although those of us who have taught online are granted a legacy exemption to that training requirement. But it's open for all of us. I encourage all of you to take it if you haven't yet. I taught a couple of sections over the summer. It's a good class. It teaches you some very basic foundational stuff for online teaching. The first assignment in that class is to import the CRC online default course, or the default for, the template for online classes at CRC, or the template for the other colleges if you're enrolled in another college, if you're teaching at another college in the district. So what we're seeing here basically, again, is that imported Commons course, the CRC online template. And I expect that if you please ask me if you want me to demonstrate doing the import, which I'm happy to do. So here's what I do in terms of my timing, right? By default, announcements our students are notified of announcements in courses that they are enrolled in, but they are not notified of announcements that were published prior to the published date of the course. So it's important that you do the timing right, like I have to do every semester if I'm going to rely on the announcements to be the welcome letter. And so what I do is I go into my announcements. This template has a pre-semester email. Okay, it's the same thing that I'm talking about here. In fact, if I look at that, let's take a look at it. It's got some information here. Why don't I edit this? I'm not going to write all the details, but I am going to say, I'm going to copy this from my notes over here. Okay, so welcome them to the class. Tell them when Canvas will be open. So here's what I'm going to say in my message, and I'll show it to you when I get to the example part of the demo, right? I'll say, welcome, Canvas is open now. You can view the syllabus and see the course calendar. Officially, we start on August 21st, and that is when you will be able to begin your work in our course, okay? So I use the module setting inside Canvas to not release a module until the official start date of the class. And so I know my students cannot post their introductions. They can't do any of the activities. All they can do from the moment I publish it until that moment, until the first module is released, all they can do is read the syllabus, basically. They can see the modules page and see the stuff that's there. They can see the assignments and all that, but they can't actually do anything inside the course. And that's a way that I protect my balance. So the welcome message, okay, I say something like that, remind them when class begins. Here is, so I'm just going to be very quick on this. Check out these resources on how to be a successful online student, okay? And at CRC, if I go to the CRC webpage, under academics, there's a link that says online education. This page here includes information about a bunch of stuff, but what I'm really interested in sharing with my students is these two links right here, the online learning self-assessment tool and the online learning readiness tutorials. These are both self-enrolled courses that are available they're available to anyone in Los Rios, but they're linked from the CRC webpage where a student could go in, and the self-assessment tool, it's a 30 to 40 minute self-assessment. It tests reading speed, typing speed, recall. It talks about time management. It has some great resources for helping students self-assess whether, what helps they might need to be a successful online student. And then the online learning readiness tutorials is also a self-enrolled class. And when students complete that, the material of that is tutorials on basically some of the skills that we know are important for online students. So I give my students these links here, or I could just give them a link straight to this page. And I could say, let's come back into Canvas. What's this page called? Online Education at CRC. Okay, so there's that link. I'm going to make that a link. And we have a vaccine mandate. And I'm just going to go straight to that page and copy that. So if I go to the home page, I'm sure, here we go, vaccine requirements, perfect. Okay, copy that. I separately emailed my students because I thought this was important enough about the mandate and the incentive, because I was an undergrad, and if someone was going to give me $200 to get something I'm going to do anyway, why not? So let me take that, and that's going to be COVID vaccine requirements. Okay. So this is the information I would have in a welcome announcement. I also include a video, and you'll see that when I show you my example. I would use better language than I have here. The key thing is the timing. And remember that an announcement, students do not get notified of an announcement unless they are enrolled in the class, obviously, unless the class is already published at the time that announcement is made. So in this class here, or this announcement, excuse me, I'm going to make sure I delay the posting unless I've got the class published already, but I'm not there yet. And I'm going to post it today, August 19th. The timing really doesn't matter. I'll say 9 p.m. Okay, and I'll hit save. So now this announcement, my pre-semester, again, I would have made a better title for this. This is already, it will be posted on August 19th at 9 p.m. So as long as I publish my course before that moment, then all my students will get that, welcome announcement. Okay, so let me see if I've got that. Okay, so let me show you my actual announcement, and then you'll see a brief video. And this is, it's okay to be imperfect, and you'll see me imperfect in my video here. So let me pull that up. And then after this, I'll take a break and look at your chat comments and questions. Okay. So here's my, oops, not published yet. Here's my history class for this fall. And if I go to my announcements, okay, there it is. History for fall History 310 for fall 2021 begins August 21st. That's going to be the subject line of the email they get, right? If they have that, so they'll have the information right away. Here's my welcome information, right? We're about to embark together on a journey. Great. Here's that information about using Canvas, resources for online students, right? Those 2 courses that I mentioned. That's on that page. I've been using this text for a few semesters now, so I just reuse it, but it's the same information. And I think what I'm going to try to do is play this video. Let's see if I can. I need to say share sound and optimize for video clip. I think that will help this work better. In fact, let me open this in a new window and pause it. It's only 58 seconds long, and I will put this in theater mode. And now I'm going to do this, try this again. A new share sound, optimize for video clip. I'm going to see if this works. And if it doesn't work, you'll at least see the captions and you'll see my mouth moving. And play. Hello, class. I'm Professor Beyer, and I'm really excited about our class. It's coming up officially on Saturday. So Saturday is when will we get started? But I'm sending you this message. It's attached to an announcement to let you know 2 things. Number 1, the course is open inside Canvas, so you can go in right now. You can read the syllabus. There's some preliminary information. Official class activities, though, won't start until Saturday. The second thing to let you know is that the announcement that this video is a part of includes some information about how to be a successful online student. You probably have experience with that over the past year and a half, but I still hope that you will take a look at those resources because they can give you some tips and suggestions, maybe some things that you hadn't thought of yet that will help you be a successful online student in this or in any other online class. I am really excited about our class semester. Looking forward to getting started very soon. Talons up. Okay, so hopefully I was sufficiently dorky in that and help my students feel at ease because it's all about helping them feel welcome and safe enough to